At first, if you don't succeed, you gotta try again, y'all. Try again. Attempt number two, to go live on my mobile phone. I'm gonna master this thing. So this time I decided to do with less movement, and I also decided to do um, no Wi-Fi. So blessings and greetings. Good evening, everyone. This is our edition of Unplug Gardening. We continue our series with Unplug Gardening, and what we're doing today is we are going to briefly talk about what are some of our wins, successes, and things that we learned in the garden, or gardening, or growing things. And what I mean by growing things, it could be your kids, it could be the garden, it could be plants. What are some of the things that we have learned, and how can we share with the people that are watching this lessons that we learned? Hey Gigi, how you doing? Good to see you. Pitts, good to see y'all, fam. Hope all is well over there. So I just want to see Thomas. Hello, how you doing, C. Thomas? Plant potatoes in December. Okay, let's start it out. Thank you, Pitts. Thank you so much for starting off the conversation. Pitts have learned to plant potatoes in December. There's a time in the season for everything, right? I've learned, do not try to win in late spring and late summer in my zone 8B, because the pests will conquer, and just understand you're gonna have to take some L's. My boy Broke, what's going on, Broke? Many blessings to you. So we're gonna take some L's. Tashi 23, how you doing, Tashi? Hope all is well. But Pitts brought up a good point about making sure that you grow in a timely manner. And for those that are new or just arriving, I just want to have a conversation about, let's talk about some of our successes and things that we learned doing in gardening. I just want to briefly just talk about some things that we learned as gardeners. Not just gardening, but just growing things. If you ever just, whether you had a garden or not, what's up, Q? What's going on, man? If you have been growing, whether it's taking care of pets, children, family, caregiver, whatever, if you nurture anything, what are some of the things that you've learned? Timing is everything. That's one thing I'm getting from Pitts. It's a time and it's a season for everything. I'm learning more than anything. All of my brassicas, all of my salads and my green plants, I win in the wintertime. So that deals with timing. Another thing, when it comes to family, sometimes you got a family member, and especially like holidays or different stuff like that that's coming up, and they acting crazy, they acting all wild. Sometimes it's not the time to even address that sometimes, and sometimes it is. Or sometimes you have to be proactive and address some of those things. So we're talking about lessons learned in the chat. Share some of the things that you learned and some of the things that you overcome. Bro said that was the big reason. Okay, I don't know how to keep my chat up. That was the big reason for my biggest plant deaths. Timing, I agree. I'm telling you another thing that attributed some of my losses. Not knowing when to water. Not knowing when to water. Watering is so important, and timeliness of watering. As you all know, y'all been watching GG Naturals, and you've been watching my channel, and water has been a big factor. The grass is struggling. The plants, we've been constantly having to water. But it's funny, and Q, you can chime in on this for some guidance and some support. I set up a little irrigation system, but guess what I learned? I need to set up zones, and then planting zones, because some plants requires more water. So, I kind of mixed up the beds, a lot of the beds in planting. But next time I plant, I'm going to coordinate my planting. Like plants that needs a lot of water, plant all of those together in some of your beds. So when you water, especially with my little spray irrigation, I'm going to have sections that I can cut on, and then sections that I can leave where I don't have to water as frequent. You know, a lot of times we went all out and we just kind of put things in the bed, and come to find out some things needed little water, some stuff needed a lot of water, and so it was hard to kind of keep that balance. So that's some lessons that I learned about the watering. Let's see. Chuckles, the girl. I've learned that there are some things I can control, and there are some things that, okay, you have no control over. Okay. I did a little short about control what you can control. Uh, I would never forget. At one time I worked at a company called Procter and Gamble, and basically we messed up a lot of product. We didn't catch something, and it went through like 3 different shifts, and our manager was livid. I'm talking about livid. He was going off, and he had a reason. We messed up hundreds, if not $1 million worth of product by not paying attention to certain detail. And then guess what? The next assistant manager, he came in. He was the first head manager. He was so upset he couldn't speak anymore. He had fussed too. He couldn't even hardly talk anymore. And then he called his assistant manager to come up. And guess what that manager said? He was an engineer, man, scholar, everything, and he very soft spoken. He said very few words, but guess what he said? These words I didn't understand in the beginning when he told me. I scratched my head. I said, "That's all you got to say?" But then I thought about it. This is what he said. He says, "Control what you can control," and he stepped down and walked away. And I'm like, "Control what you can control? That's all you got to say? Control what you can control? That's your answer? Control what you can control?" But I thought about that thing. You know, in life, it's almost like this. I was in sales I'm still in sales. A lot of times we think about what we're trying to do in sales. Like, for instance, I need 20 sales this week. I need 20 sales this week. Instead of me thinking, if I talk to 50 people, I can achieve 20 sales. I can't control whether people gonna buy or not, but what I can control is how many people I talk to. So in life, whether it's sickness, whether it's financial, what it is, anything that you can control, try to control it. In the garden, there's some things that nature just gonna take over. We're at the mercy. All we are just stewards, just trying to put a seed, just plant a good seed, and we're hoping for the best, and then we're gonna care for it, we're gonna nurture it. I think that's a great one. Control what you can control. There's some things you can control, there's some things you can't control. Hey, Love Notes, how you doing? Hope you're having a beautiful afternoon. I use my moisture meter way more. Okay. Finding the right tools, bro. Let's chime on that. Sometimes we're doing all the right things, but do we actually use the right tools and apply the right tools for the right reason? We find problems in our garden. We find problems in our life. How often do we try to find tools to make the situation a little bit better? I was watching a channel this week, and this grower, he was just talking about, I got to find the right tools for his wife. And please forgive me, Sunday Backyard Garden, that's what it was. Sunday Backyard Garden. He was finding the right tools for his wife. He went to one store, and he didn't like those tools because he knew how she likes to be organized and neat and things like to be together. But he found the perfect gift at another place. Sometimes when we garden, when we out here grinding, when we out here working, when we live in our lives, we may have a situation where we need some help. We need the right tools. And sometimes we got to go deep sea fishing. We got to go looking just for the right thing. And we got to share that we need tools. And that's one thing I love about this garden community is we ask for help. And I'm starting this little series of videos where I always had a fascination to walk into the woods or walk into a store, and if a flower or a herb or anything don't have a label on it, I always been kind of like I want to be able to see what that is. Or if I walk into my garden and I don't have a label or something washed off, I want to be able to look at the leaves and look at the physical characteristic to see what kind of plant that is. So I've been starting that thing, and I'm noticing there's a lot of participation and people helping each other to identify the plants. And it's like, so far I hadn't done but a few, but no one has allowed me to name the plant. Everybody else is naming the plant. And it's people who say, I'm just going to wait for the comments. So that's the beautiful thing about having a community. We can't do it all by ourselves. Nothing can be done just by itself. You know, this finger right here, it's pretty strong. I can grab some stuff, but these fingers together, it makes a fist. And that's the beautiful thing I love about us working together, collaborating together, supporting each other, hitting the like button, going over, subscribing, and looking out for each other. Hey, Marmar, how you doing? What's going on? Tashi 23. Let's see what you say, Tashi. How to keep a smooth pace so I won't get burnt out. Garden work is continual at a good pace. You know, I believe this. You got a couple of types of gardeners. You got gardeners who are, you know, those type of, well, I call them farmers, where they growing so much produce, they growing so much stuff that here it is where it's number work. But for me, gardening is relaxation. So sometimes, Tashi, just consider this. Have fun and learn at the same time. But guess what? Rome wasn't built overnight. If we had to eat an elephant, how do you eat an elephant? You eat it one bite at a time. Sometimes we put a lot of pressure on ourselves because we see the vision, we see where we want to go. But we got to also see the journey, and we got to see the progress. Because as we learn, we grow, we're going to learn that sometimes we might not even need to do as much as some things that we do. But if we go through the process and then get our successes and then think about those successes and then multiply it eventually and slowly increase it, you'll get to where you're going. Because that's the beautiful thing about life. You know, every day we wake up, we get another chance, we get another opportunity. So don't put too much on yourself. You know, go ahead and take your time. Love notes. I have a moisture meter, but I find my fingers are the most accurate to know if it's dry or not. So moisture meters, I always say this too. Find what works for you. Off that comment, you know what I'm thinking about? Find what works for you. It might be a moisture meter. It may be your finger. It may be you looking at the plants. Because every zone and every yard is a little microclimate. It's a own ecosystem. So I seen yards that's right down the street from me that I maintain where they killing something. When I mean by killing, I mean in a positive way. They growing stuff effortlessly, and I'm struggling. So you got to find what works for you, and whatever works for you, it's all good. Just because one person doing something and they successful with it, and you try it and you're not successful with it, change it up. It's okay. Just change it up. Let's see. That was my issue as a first-time grower. The watering probably. Chuckles the girl. I'm slow with the chat. Y'all bear with me. Hey Nikki, how you doing? What's going on? Let's see. Elevated Lawnscapes. What's up, my brother? Everybody speaking to everybody. Beautiful blessings. I hope y'all having a beautiful evening. A couple of more thumbs up. Thank you, bro. Thank you. What's up? Mar. Speaking to everybody. What's up? So today, if y'all just got in, you know what we're talking about is share your success. Share some things that you learned. Like, think about this. In gardening, it don't, and we had this thing. I'll hear this thing about I'm a beginner gardener, I'm a first year gardener, I'm this and that. Regardless, if you do anything, you're gonna learn from it, or you ought to learn from it. So whatever we do, if you haven't grown a garden, share some things that you learned nurturing a loved one or growing a pet. Share some things that you learned where you took care of something, whether it's a goldfish, whatever it is, whether it's nurturing your car. Share some things that you learned and some successes and share it with us and let us help one another and encourage one another. Because this is what this is. This is Unplugged Garden. We're not going to talk about the problems, the worries, the stresses. This is a time for us to just rally together and really share where we just killing it. We just doing well. And there's no accomplishment that's too small or too big. I don't care if you just put a seed and now you just see it coming out the ground. That's a success. So let's just share a moment of just having fun and just encouraging each other to just keep growing. And then also let us keep encouraging each other to share some of our successes. Love notes. I had to cut down the volume of growing. Some stuff I didn't even like to eat. Man, yeah. Okay, two things, love notes, that jumps out at me when you said that. When I first started growing, and I still guilty of this, I just want to grow stuff. I ain't never growed that before. I'm gonna grow this. I want to grow this. I want to grow this. But guess what? Sometimes you start out like that, and then after a while, you start saying, okay, next year I'm gonna grow a little bit more of that. I'm not gonna spend so much time on growing unknown stuff. I was good and successful, and I enjoy eating this particular plant and this particular plant. Then you're gonna slowly, eventually evolve to the part where you're gonna say, hey, I'm growing what I like to eat. And then some parts of your garden, it's kind of like a portfolio, a bank account. It's kind of like when you investing. You want to diversify. It's a pie. So some of your pie might be stuff you know you're good at, stuff you know you're growing, and then some of your pie in your growing may be just some experiments. I want to try this different food. I never grew this different food. I want to try this different flower. I never grew this different flower. I want to try this different tree. I seen it one time when I visited somewhere. So just all you gotta do is just try something new, and then you might say, hey, you've been growing something for years, and then all of a sudden you lose the taste for it. You no longer want it. That's another opportunity to just grow something new that you want, because life changes and you change just as well. We all evolve. We all evolve in people. Hey Cam, how you doing? Simplify the process. And when I think about Broke saying simplify the process, you know what comes to my mind when he says that. I hear that a lot. I hear a lot of people say we overthink things. We work so hard to do this, and then it becomes a situation where it becomes tiring and daunting. You know, I say this: where are you in your life? Some of us, we go to work every day, we do the same thing, and we bored with life. We feel like we're not moving. We feel like we're not evolving. We feel like things not working out for us. But then we go to the garden and then we try to challenge ourselves. I never could grow this. I never could do that. So in those situations, nothing wrong with being complicated, because it's giving you brain stimulation, it gives you mind stimulation, it giving you eye stimulation. Nothing wrong with just complicating situations, because you just trying to get in the active. I've seen times in my life where I was at a place where I knew my job was boring. I didn't like my career. I didn't like what was going on. I didn't like where I lived at. But guess what I did? I started trying different types of plants and stuff that I knew that didn't grow in that area. And then I started finding where I was getting away, and it gave me brain stimulation. It started giving me creative juices. It's something like when you're in an environment where you challenge and you're doing something new and you preoccupying your mind and you challenging yourself, it stimulates and it attracts things that you want to attract in your life. Then I think about all the complexity on the flip side. I think about all the complexity in life where you like, man, I'm running, I'm going, I'm ripping, I'm running, I'm going, I'm ripping. And then you try to bring it in the garden, which really what you want to do was simplify. So when I think about simplifying garden, that's what I think about, simplistic life, because I'm ripping and running every day. When I come in the garden, I just want to be a place of peace. So it goes back to knowing thyself. When we growing, know thyself. Don't try to conform yourself to be nobody else. What makes us beautiful, what makes Nikki, what makes my boy Broke, Q, Love Notes, what makes every mama, makes everybody so different. You know what makes them different? Because they are different. And if you go and you watch those pits, they got channel, they all have their uniqueness. They all got their signature to it. And that's to me what attracts me. I don't want to go online and see myself and see me doing what I do in my garden. I want to see somebody try some challenging things that motivate me to try some challenging things. I want to see some people fail because what it does is it lets me know I'm not by myself. I want to see some people accomplish some things to give me hope to know that, hey, I can do that same thing. So that's the beautiful thing, what I love about the uniqueness of people and individuals. But first, we got to know ourselves to know that it's okay with our decision what we do. Think about this. In your garden, nobody can say, don't put that there. Don't move that over there. Don't harvest that. It's too early to get that. Why are you cutting that? This the only time you can empower yourself, especially especially African American men, where you can truly make your own decision without being told what to do, without being scrutinized, without being looked at, looked frowned upon. It's a freeing moment where you can just truly make your own decision. Put a plant where you want to and dig it up and move it back around here. And then if you want to try to divide it, do whatever you want to do, and you fail, you succeed. It's your world. You can create that. You have the power to do that. That's the beautiful thing I love about gardening and doing your own garden. I know I'm consistent. Me too, Gigi. I say if we ain't learning, we ain't growing. Sean, how you doing? V Solo, what's going on? Many blessings to you. Miss Nene, how you doing? Good to see you. So all I'm saying is this is a time where you just relaxing and you just sharing your successes. So if you're new to the chat and if you're new to in here, just put in the chat your successes, things that you have learned nurturing, growing something. If you never grown a garden, that's okay. Maybe you taking care of a loved one. I tell you one thing I remember when I was a teenager. I was blessed to know a lot of generations. On my mother's side, I was blessed to know my grandmother's grandmother. You know, on my mother's father's side, I was blessed to know my mother's grandfather, and we actually took care of him. And some of the things that I learned with growing with him was he was way up in age, and he started to slowly lose his mind. And as sometimes he'll be just regular granddad, and sometimes he's somewhere back in 1920s, or he in Tuskegee. You know, it was just one of those things that he went through mentally. But you know what I learned? I learned because I was silly. I was a child. You know, I used to clown a lot, and sometimes he did things that seemed funny. But then I learned one thing, that he loved when you gave him a hug. He loved when you sat next to him. I learned how to stop, slow down, because here I am was 14, 15 years old, going. He taught me how to just sit for a minute, and then I would just see the smile on his face whenever you just sit by him. You know, and then my grandmother's grandmother, she lost her mind. You know, we would watch football together, and she'd be fussing on the football players, talking about, get off of them, get off of them. Y'all hear me? She'd pick up a cane stick and try to hit the TV, because she thought the football team were fighting each other. So, but I just remember those little memories of when you nurture something, when you care for something, when you bring them water, when you bring them food, when you change they bowls out, when you wash them, when you brush their hair, you know, when you adjust their clothes, you know, when you tie their shoes. You learn something. You learn how to love, how to nurture, how to care. Same thing that you learn in growing in the garden. You know, Bro had a video um, this morning, I think it was, where he's talking about talking to his plants. You know, speak life. You know, when we talk, we ought to speak life. You know, we ought to give life. I traveled from San Diego to Houston, Texas, and kept most of my garden alive. Come on. So traveling. She said from San Diego to Texas, so she probably got on Highway Interstate 10, and it's nothing out there. It's nothing out there. So there was times she had to coordinate watering. There's times she had to pull to the side. There's packaging. She had to make sure that she packaged everything upright. She had to make sure that um, she had to check on her plants. That was a coordination piece. And then once you get to a new environment, the sun sets in a different location. The sun rises in a different location. Where to place the plant. Then I'm quite sure once she got there, she noticed that she thought she was going to place a plant in one place and she had to move it around because it was a new environment. So it's so many steps, it's so many things that we learn with growing that makes things so fun and exciting. That's why we just really shouldn't stress with it. We should just take our time and just keep on growing. Wait a minute. Let's see. I had to find where the exotic seeds were. Some people. I like something Led did. He got a video where, Dan will make you sin. I'm not far south as Dan, but I'm tell you about my boy Dan. He will grow some stuff to make you want to grow. And then Led was sharing that he going back to trying something that he didn't succeed with. And my thing is, man, if you're having fun, you're doing what you want to do, why not try it? But what if he's successful with it? And in the process, what if he learned a little bit more than a little bit? Here are times where I had plants that I could take care of for 2 or 3 months, and then I failed and I went back and bought some more, and then I tried. The next thing you know, I got it for 6 months, and then when it got cold, I lost it. And then I found grow lights, and I'm watching other channels on what they doing and they success, and I'm like, if they can grow stuff in Michigan, they can grow stuff all over the place. Man, I definitely gotta grow. So now I'm up in Michigan looking for what my 40 and 50 degree weather's doing, or I'm up there watching Nikki, because I know Nikki is in a colder zone that to me, her area is like my winter time. And then I watch Lady Linda on what the weather pattern is doing, because I know she farther west than I am, and Q, they farther west. If they getting rain, I know eventually I'm gonna get some rain because the winds typically go from west to east. And I know eventually I'm gonna get some rain. So I kind of watch things and watch patterns and look at those patterns and look at y'all successes and how y'all growing. And what it does for me, it allows me to put things in my perspective, my context, and allow me to be successful with what I'm doing. So I love it when y'all just constantly provide us information and just share. Is that Growing with Hudson? I see Broke saying Hudson. Is it growing? Yeah. Hey, Growing with Hudson. How you doing? Welcome. Growing with Hudson. There she is. Hey, Growing with Hudson. What's going on? Let's see. Let me speed up because Baker Creek. That's where you're getting your exotics from. Okay. Broke sharing in the chat. That's valuable information. Broke Creek, Baker Creek, not Broke Back Creek, but Baker Creek. he's sharing that he getting his exotics. That's kind of weird. Exotics from Broke Back Creek. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Broke Farmer. He getting his exotics from Baker Creek. Good info. Facts. Let's see. Celeste's Nest. Interesting thoughts. I agree. First time here. Look. Welcome. Thank you. Everybody make sure y'all speak. I want to see someone fertilize a tree with the Okay. All right. Now I got some sideline I guess messages about me putting trees on my citrus. Let's go back to what I previously said. What I do may work for me, but it may not work for you. I'm sharing what I've seen over the years that work for me. I want to also say a disclaimer. If I got a brand new tree, I'm not putting no full chicken in my brand new tree. And if I got pests and vermin digging in my backyard, I'm not putting no tree in the garden. I realize now that you have to really do disclaimers and really share that all I'm doing is sharing with you some things I learned that works for me. And all I'm doing is hopefully if you try it and it don't work, you'll say, hey, I won't do that again. Or you might try it and it may be like, man, that junk worked. It actually worked. So um I need my audience to stop distracting me. Gigi over here, she just all over the place, and she talking in the background. She talking about keep going, keep going. You know, I've been the end of this live by now, but and now she's talking. I can't concentrate on my audience, cause you know when Gigi around, she get my all my attention. Yes, the variety of veggies in different zones is so interesting. It is. It's some things I simply can't grow outside. But this year, well, from last year, from last year, the end of last year to this year, last winter was my first time with grow lights. I always wanted grow lights. I mean, y'all just encouraging me to kind of check off on my bucket list of stuff. You know, between the gold power, the um, the pruners, the solar panel, all of this stuff. Everybody's sharing all this information. It's stuff that I always wanted, and now I'm getting the green light from the wifey, cause she with it, and it's all good. It's all good. I appreciate that, growing with Hudson. Much love to you. Peace and freedom. Yes, indeed, love knows. Let me see. What I got? Lead Farmer. Salute, women. Salute to Lead Farmer. Y'all see his new merch too. Y'all make sure y'all check out the new merch, man. He got a fire. He got one already on my list right there. Y'all might as well get with it. Taking our power. Yes. Come on, Chon. You already know. We don't have that many opportunities to have power. But in our garden, don't tell me, don't peek over my fence and tell me I can't put that tree right here, or I can't put that azalea right here, I can't put that gardenia right here, I can't put this piece of lettuce right here. It's empowering growing your own garden. It's empowering growing your own food. You know, I go to Walmart. Who would ever think that Walmart? I remember I worked for well over a decade in Florida prisons, and I didn't work as a guard, but I was like a trainer. I was like a person that helped people get back to society, and I worked with people who were never gonna get out, who had 200 and some odd years, to people who had 50 years, and then when they get finished with the 50 years, they had to do 25 years in the feds. But I always remember we would grow in prison in little cups. We would eat the food because they would have fresh fruits or whatever, and we would grow citrus in little cups, man. We'll get milk containers, and they'll get the dirt, and man, it was some creativity growing like that. But there's nothing like having that power and getting that power back, y'all. Let's see. Eco Appreciate you, bro. I mean, I got some people, man, behind the scenes, man. They reach out to me. Broke is a dear friend of mine. Q, definitely dear friend. Turf, and you know, we conversate a lot, you know, through chats and through texts or whatever. But one thing I would tell you about those solid group of brothers, man, every time I talk to them, it's positive. Every time I talk to them, it's positive. Even when things ain't going right, it's positive. There's nothing in the world better than having a source or connection where you're dealing with number positive. Even when they're going through something and it's not a good situation, it's positive. Even when employees don't show up, or something dies, or you killed something, we still gonna talk positive about it. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing like having a good core, solid foundation around you where you got positivity. You in Eco's house, man. Man, it's a blessing. I mean, you got all these places you could be, man. All these channels you can follow. led, but you just take your time and you work your way around. Much respect, man. Like a real leader. He say well, I ain't gonna go down that road. He keep telling me he ain't no teacher, but he's a leader. Then I'll put it like that. A positive. Well, he's a positive influence. Okay, maybe he'll accept that. I'm gonna say he's a positive influence. So maybe he'll graciously accept that. See, these Aries need to learn how to take compliment too. So okay, I'll be done with that. Gardening has been a lesson of patience. Me too. I'm still working on the patience though, because sometimes I get to want to do something. I just got to do it. Thank you, everybody. I'm in the house only because it's starting to get dark outside. Well, hey, I'm glad it's starting to get dark outside. Brother Eco, what's up, man? Let's see, bro. Yes, indeed. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yeah, uh-oh is right. Let's see. Oh, y'all please in the chat. Tell me some of your successes. Is that CNB Davis? What's up, CNB? Good to see you, CNB. Hi, Eco Neighbor. I'm in Zone 5A and a new beekeeper. I'm still trying new things. Look, much respect. Salute. Salute to you. Um, that beekeeping thing, I gotta salute all beekeepers. If you can in the chat, put a round of applause to all beekeepers because um, I was fascinated with beekeepers. I remember years ago I met this guy. He was a beekeeper, and he has honey that he sells in a store. And I remember he came and he was showing me because he would come out to like I said, I worked in the prison system, but I would meet a lot of people on roadside stands that I would buy fruits and vegetables, and he sold honey. But then fast forward, I end up having my dear friend in one of my videos. He got 200 plus acres, and he's over 60 years old. He grow cattle, he grow vegetables, hogs, everything. But he got bees too. And one thing I learned about beekeeping from him is you got to be ready, and it ain't no joke. I learned one thing that I don't know if I'm ready for bees. I would love to grow bees, but you got to be ready to take care of some beautiful species of insects. And it's always evolving, it's always changing. And as he said, it's some work. And I just went through a couple of times with him in his hive. And after getting stung a couple of times, I got stung. I got stung in my ear. And I mean, that bee got all up in my ear. And I got to pray for me on the bee. Maybe in time. Maybe in time. Let's see. I talk to my babies every time I go check on them. You know, they say that if you talk to a plant, speak positive words, it sees it. Some people say plants ain't got no feeling. I say you get a break off a piece of limb and see what it does, or don't water and see does it bend over, or shake that plant sometimes and see if sometimes the plants will come alive, and sometimes the plants will die. Or move a plant around. You're gonna see life. It's life in plants. So speak life. And to each other. Let's just speak life to each other. Also pray over them. Let me talk about that pray over your plants and talk about talking to your plants. It kind of reminds me, and I'm not trying to get all spiritual, but whoever you speak to, whoever you believe in, whatever most deity, whatever most high, how many times do you ask your deity how your spirit or your deity, how they doing? Or do you always just ask for something? When you talk to your plants, do you always just say, give me some food, give me some food, give me some food? Or do you really say, I see you, I love you, I'm going to take care of you. You need a little water. Let me give you some water. You need a little love. I'm going to give you some love. Oh, you need a little warmth because it got cold last night. I'm going to give you some mulch. Or, how you doing? Sometimes we always taking, and asking. But how often do we ask those plants that give to us what they need? How often do we look and communicate with those plants on what they need? Because they're giving the ultimate sacrifice, which is their life, so that we could be sustained. So I know it might be a little bit over the board, but that's just my way of thinking. And hey, it's my channel. I can do it. I learned this week that I don't care much for radishes. Moving forward, I won't be wasting any of my precious growth space on radishes. That's all I'm saying. See, the beautiful thing about that, Nikki, you say, I never grown radishes. I can grow radishes. I grown the radishes. I tried the radishes. I don't like the radishes. Next, that's the beautiful thing about you in control of your garden and you winning. You winning anyway. You overcame something you ain't never did. Then you harvested. You benefited from it. Then you say, hey, I don't like it. It's kind of like going out there. I'll never forget sometimes, in my career, it was this job, man. It took me about a year and a half to get on this job. Through the screening process, through the testing, through the waiting list, through the screening and reapplying and getting it. I got that job, and in 3 months, I didn't even want that job. And I think I stayed there maybe a year, and I was gone. It took me longer to get the job than I wanted the job. Same thing about gardening sometimes. Sometimes you get out here and you get this plant, you excited about this plant, you plant this plant, you feed it, you water it, you do all this stuff to this plant, and guess what you end up saying? This ain't what I really wanted. This is not really what I'm cracked up to be. I don't want to be raking these leaves. I'm tired of putting sheets over this plant every time it gets frost to get cold. Is this plant really worth it? And you know what you do? You dig it up and you try something new. Don't waste your time. I like that, Nikki. Don't waste your time. Hey, don't hurt the harvest. Let's see. My seed potatoes started growing in 4 grow bags, 5 in each. After a month, I took them out, separated them, and gave me 40 starters with good root system. My friend let me use his mother's yard to plant. Wow. So, Mama, this is what I get out of your comment, what you just said. You had something. You had some success with it. You didn't mind taking a chance to see if you can have further success. You risk your successes to try something new, to expand it, and then you succeeded and you far outgrow probably your expectations. You winning. That's the beautiful thing about life. Don't be afraid to try things. Let's just say, Mama, it didn't work. It didn't work. Guess what? We got another season to put those same potatoes back in another bag. And guess what? We know where we were successful at, and we could have stayed in that lane. It's so many options to life. It's so many things that we can look to as life when we're growing, and we can be successful in so many ways. It's just how we look at it. She ran out of space, but she didn't give up. But guess what? You turned around and found another area. Don't hurt the harvest. It's a lot easier when we all do this together. Hey, man. Hey, man. Come on, man. I'm trying to fight you with one finger. Here I am. I'm trying to learn how to plant a seed I never seen before. I'm trying to water something I never grown before. I'm trying to know how to fight the pest for something I never grown before. I'm watching disease. I'm watching withering. I'm watching all of that by myself. When I got a whole community, I got a whole bunch of growing friends that I could just say, hey, I got a question. And then guess what? I'm going to get an entourage of bunch of different answers. And then I might say, okay, I see 5, 6 that are consistent. I'm going to try this one. I'm going to try this 2. Bottom line, I got options. And you can't tell me we ain't going to grow together. I learned so much from watching all you guys on YouTube. I watch you while I work, and sometimes I take notes. You guys are a blessing. You're a blessing. Okay, wait a minute. I'm going to finish this. Gardening is really something we should all do. It's food security. You know what? You're absolutely right. And I want to just comment on that. I share some of my successes, and people say, man, I learned so much from you. And then guess what I do? I go click on their videos, or the next time they comment, I watch some of their comments. And then guess what I do? I go click on their videos, or the next time they comment, I watch some of their comments. And then guess what I do? I go click on their videos, or the next time they comment, I watch some of their comments. And then guess what I do? I go click on their videos, or the next time they comment, I watch some of their comments. And then guess what I do? I go click on their videos, or the next time they comment, I watch some of their comments. And then guess what I do? I go click on their videos, or the next time they comment, I watch some of their comments. And then guess what I do? I go click on their videos, or the next time they comment, I watch some of their comments. And then guess what I do? I go click on their videos, or the next time they comment, I watch some of their comments. And then guess what I do? I go click on their videos, or the next time they comment, I watch some of their comments. And then guess what I do? I go click on their videos, or the next time they comment, I watch some of their comments. And then guess what I do? I go click on their videos, or the next time they comment, I watch some of their comments. and then I watch them break other people off, and then they in turn break me off in the background, or just by you just saying an encouraging word. Do you know how much momentum that gives people who be like, man, am I really doing anything? Am I really making an impact? Because my whole goal, yeah, I want to have a great, fun, successful channel. And what I mean by successful, it means I'm cataloging what my big mama taught me. This is my video version of what my big mama taught me at an early age, which I wish I could have wrote it down. I wish I could have cataloged what she taught me, but I'm always just trying to bring things back to remembrance. And one thing about that, let's talk about this. One thing about that comment, when somebody teach me something, whether whoever it is, a channel, I watch a channel, they teach me something. You know what I end up doing? I go out there and I try it, and then I go and do a video on it. And now some people might frown about that, but let me tell you something. Something that works for me. It may not work for you, but this worked for me. If somebody teach me something, and then I wait for the opportunity for that time to come, and then try to recall that information, it's some pieces I might forget. But if anybody ever teach you something, and then you turn around and teach somebody else what somebody else just taught you remember that stuff a whole lot easier. You retain that information a whole lot better. So when people teach me things, I try to go teach what they just taught me to others. Because you know what that does? It helps me to retain it. And then guess what? They just taught. Teachers love when they can share something with you, and then you can share it with others and keep it going. Eco number, that's so true. Every year I plant watermelon, even though zone 6A gets cool quick. Yeah, and have fun. I mean, you win in my book. What if you get a good hot season? What if the weather get crazy like it did in 2020, and you plant like you always do, and you get a harvest? Think about how good you'll feel about that. After 6 years of me growing a plant back here with no harvest, watering, caring for it, 6 years, y'all. That's a long time to put something in the ground and water consistently. Put sheets over when it was a baby at night so it wouldn't frost, wouldn't bite it. To keep the water on during times with the freezing zones. To wrap it, to fertilize it year after year after year. To make sure keep pest disease off of it for 6 years. Every season. And then here it is, the 6th year I get fruit. Come on, man. You got to look at, it's worth the time, it's worth the investment. All right, in the chat, let me speed up. GG, back then, yeah, she back there in the background. She quiet now, I'm glad. Okay, there she go. Why y'all talk to her, man? Don't talk up. I used grow lights this last winter for the first time. Did well for starting seeds. Let's see. Let me try to speed up a little bit. BB Glow, what's going on, BB Glow? If whole new perspective. You know I love that name. Whole new perspective. When I worked in the prison growing plants and cooking food with the iron. Hey, made sandwiches too. Made sandwiches too. Ain't nothing like that bread with some cheese. Yeah. Even Cheetos. Crunched up. For sure. Okay. Saying here, much love. Much love back to you, bro. You can find something positive in everything. Amen. Okay, fam. Like I said, I just wanted to kind of come in here and let's see. I learned that you can purchase fruit and vegetable plants using food stamps. Okay? For those of us who are, hey, and keep your seeds. Keep your seeds. Seeds is food, and food is seeds. Chuckles the girl. Bye. I wish I had some stamps. Tell you like that. I'll be up in there right now. Grow your own food. Eco, don't start on the. Oh yeah, yeah, y'all Aries, beekeepers. Yeah, much respect, beekeepers. Success growing small watermelon. My new successes are knowing when to keep my big mouth closed on you. We led. Now you know I wasn't up. I was asleep, but I saw you put something up and you put it you private. Yeah, you know I wanted to see it first thing in the morning. I went to click that thing said private. Private. I was like, uh-oh, he did eco neighbor. He definitely did eco neighbor. Let's see. Really led. Growing with hustle. I'm trying Celeste Nest. I'm trying. I didn't realize. Okay, you talking to Love Notes, my bad. I'm all up in your business. My friend also said I could use his yard to house for my bees when I'm ready. So great. Hey, you got a neighbor. You got a neighbor. You got a neighbor, and your neighbor is cordial and working with you. That's what's up. Yes, chuckled the girl. I'm eyeing some fruit. We got heirloom fish peppers. Came from a African American artist. Traded the seeds for a jar of honey. Trade. Love notes. Let's talk about trade. I do yards. Y'all know I do yards. I'm gonna try this. I hope it won't get me into trouble. But let me tell you about sharing and giving. So what I do when I grow stuff, I share with some of the people that I maintain a landscape and yards for. So basically I work a full-time job, but my getaway is doing yards. So I say, why not have fun and get paid for it? So I do gardens, I do yards, and I do my garden and yards at the same time. I'm just spoiled. I just kind of just ride out. But I'm saying all this about trading. My neighbors, not my neighbors, but my customers, I have some that they move. I live in the state of Florida. People move all the time. I've been given hammocks. I've been given water hoses, flowers, fruit trees. I've been given pots, all kinds of stuff. I got stuff all decorated around here where it's been gifts from people. But guess what? I helped them grow their garden. I helped them erect their garden, and they're grateful for that. If we just only support each other, if we just only just supported each other, it's a lot we didn't need. My mama told me something that I'll never forget in my life. They grew up in South Georgia on a farm, sharecroppers. And she said it wasn't until she went to Miami to start a new life that she realized she was broke. She had no idea that she was broke until she went to Miami. Because she said we didn't have the best clothes. We mended our clothes. We put patches in our pants. We kept our shoes and then we fixed our shoes. But guess what? We never did. We never went hungry. We never went hungry. I think about that thing. I said, if you got your health, you got people you love, you got people you care for, and you got food and clothes on your back, who really rich? Who really wealthy? But then she went to Miami and then she started seeing these cars and seeing these buildings and seeing all this other stuff. That's distraction. So that's just me. All right, I'm sorry. I always kind of get off the stuff. Sorry you got stung. Yeah, I got, man, the thing, out of all places, the first bee came and hit me. A couple of bees hit me, but that one hit me dead in my ear. My ear just swole up. You know, I wouldn't even, I mean, he don't really suit up. You know, he don't even do the suit up thing. But I was just off to the side watching them, man. They came to talk to me and I wasn't ready. In a big yard and I'm learning big yard lessons right now. Snakes and cats. Let's see. I've learned so much in my garden, being able to hear my Heavenly Father is number one. Well, you know, that's the beautiful thing. We all got our personal things that we trying to achieve. Somehow, I don't know what it is about touching soil and caring and nurturing something it aligns you. It aligns you with whatever your belief, whatever your purpose, whatever your thought process, your reasoning for being here. It does something. It does something about that. Current success. Let's see. I have about 10 to 15 tomatoes growing right now on my plants. Elevated landscapes. Can we get applause for elevated? Congratulations, man. Keep on growing, man. You winning, man. You winning. We have a whole relationship out here. Yeah, Gigi. Yeah, it's true. I talk to my plants. I tell them that they're beautiful. Yeah, tell them they're beautiful. And tell that plant, oh man, here go a plant over here. Tell the plant that's looking a little rough around the edges, you know what? You're still beautiful. You're still beautiful. I thank you for sacrifice. I thank you for producing fruit. I thank you. You're still beautiful. You're unique. There's no other plant like you. You're beautiful. Right, Eco? I learned to put the plants that need the same fertilizer. Yeah, that's something I look next year with the raised beds. Me and Gigi, we're gonna have some discussion. Like, okay, this side over here, this quadrant over here is gonna need a lot of water. So water loving plants, they go on in this one right here, and then these don't need that much water. This one need a little bit more sun. Yeah, it's just learning and growing. That's the beautiful thing about trying and experimenting. I love talking to my garden. Me too. Me too. CNB. Okay. Mama, that's awesome. You can have bees on someone else. Yeah, it's awesome. Hey family, I'm sharing with my neighbors, and now I have one gardener, and they want to get some bees also. Yeah, then look, each one teach one. Don't hurt the harvest. Each one teach one. None but positivity, love and positivity, love notes. I don't like radishes, mustard, greens, or blue kale. Hey, you don't like it? Don't grow it, and or grow it. Okay, let me share something. Another thing, Lord knows you always bringing out something. So one thing about that, how about this concept? Something you really don't like, but you're successful at growing it. You're real successful at growing it, and you got some space to do. Think about finding somebody you can get at too. Think about that. You're successful at growing it. You really don't like it, but this can be something that you can share with someone else. So think about that. Think about that. I think I agree. I hate radishes. Hey, New Art Garden, how you doing? Good to see you. We saw your mashed radish giveaway, bro. Let's see. Let's see. I'm gonna scroll down, cause Gigi already told me I'm way behind. Let's see. Toya Story 1, how you doing? Welcome. I do apologize if I skip some of your comments. I'm trying to get down, to work my way down, because I don't want to leave out nobody who just, them groceries, what's going on, them groceries? Renee Garden, how you doing? Renee, let's see. Team Benson, Desert Garden. You know I love them groceries. Rhonda Moffitt, how you doing, Rhonda? Good to see you. If you're first time here, welcome. Welcome. I hope you're having a beautiful evening. Let's see. Great to be here. Hello, everyone. RJ Unique Store. RJ Unique Store. I got to check that out. Unique Store. Now you got me wondering what's unique. I want to know what's unique, RJ. Coming to check you out. Y'all check out RJ Unique Store. And what does it say, from the Philippines? Wow. Wow. Good to see you. Good to see you. It's an honor to be here. Let's see. Y'all make me feel so. Oh, you are special. Rhonda, you special. Y'all gonna tell Rhonda she's special. Tell everybody. If you see somebody in here in this chat that you've never seen before, y'all ought to say hello and you are special. Those cicadas making that. No, yeah, you know it. You know, in Florida we got a bunch of them, but we don't. No, let me retract that statement. I seen Nikki. I seen a couple other. Um, trying to remember which other channel that was. AJ's. Oh my God, we don't have no cicadas. Trust me, we don't have no cicadas, and they can keep them. They can keep them. Yeah, I hadn't seen nothing. I'm happy you came across too. I'm blessed you came. So I made it to the bottom of the chat, y'all, and I just want to tell you all: look for your successes in every possible way you can. Strive for success, and don't be so hard on yourself. Take your time, grow your garden, and enjoy growing. And make sure in life, whatever you do, keep on growing. Grow.